world do. But that's not where I want to tie this one off to. So yes, I want to talk about how people often think that I didn't get this because so and so is a donut, or I didn't get that time off because my manager's a loser, or I didn't win the lottery because the world hates me, or I can't get referred for this appointment because the doctors don't believe that I'm that unwell. And more often than not, there are other things that are underlying or substantially alongside that people don't see because they only see
Ryan,
thing they think is the problem.
you're going to hate me. I'm going to cut in here quickly because where
You
I
didn't
connected...
start, did you?
No, I did, but where I connected to new setup, the audio wasn't working, and it is working now, so we might need to just restart.
I nailed it so
You did
well.
nail it. You did really well.
I can't believe this. Well, Ryan, you got to berate Lee now on the technology.
One of the weeks I don't record this, and I get that.
And you did a superb opener, and I'm going to leave this bit in the live, but obviously we'll start again from here. Inspiration Nation, hello, Lee Kemp here for another week on the podcast, here with my very good friends, h0le Noya, and possibly not my friend anymore, Ryan Boniface. How are we doing, guys? Oh, no, it's bad. So, for those not watching our live stream, this is because for about 10 minutes we did a really good intro, and I pressed the wrong button, hadn't recorded any audio, so we're starting again. So, as a complete mystery to me, Ryan, you were up with the conversation this week. What are we talking about?
When you cut in, I thought I did something really controversial and it gets cancelled. I was like, oh no, what did I do?
Are you actually relieved?
A little bit. I'm gonna have to go through all that whole spiel again.
You did
not
really
gonna sound genuine anymore. Not gonna sound genuine anymore. So yeah, it's my week for the quote this week, and those of you that have listened before will know that I pick generally fictional events or fictional motives for these quotes, and this week is no different, except it's based off of what I believe to be a true story, or at least a semi-true story, and it's from the film The Social Network. And those of you that didn't listen before, Social Network has Jesse Eisenberg. I thought it was going to be Heisenberg from Breaking Bad then. Justin Timberlake's in it, Andrew Garfield's in it, who was also the second Spider-Man. And for those of you Gen Zers, he was in the Spider-Verse films the last year? Start of last year, wasn't it? So yes, the quote originates from the start of the film, where Mark Zuckerberg in the film gets broken up with by his girlfriend, and the quote is, "You're going to go through life thinking that girls don't like you because you're a nerd, and I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that won't be true. It'll be because you're an arsehole." And I was going to tie this in with this kind of stuff that we normally talk about, because people often aren't successful in something or anything, or get knocked back from certain situations and believe it must be because of a prejudice that they can't control, or a situation that is completely out of their control, when in fact the truth is it's something completely unrelated that is wholeheartedly in their control, but they're blindsided to that because they think the world or life has something against them because of the aforementioned prejudice that they believe they're not in control of. And the way I described that earlier, before Lee ruined the entire podcast, was something about a job, going for a job that you don't get, and you think it's because it could be because of your age or your gender or your race or your background or anything like that, and that necessarily isn't the case. And it's because I don't know, perhaps you didn't have the right qualities for a job that you'd applied for. And I think I prefaced it last time by saying as well that obviously the vice versa does exist in this scenario, but that's not what we want to talk about. And those prejudices shouldn't exist in the world, but we know that they do. But yeah, kind of talking about how people think that they aren't successful at something, anything, life, because the things that they think are most obvious, but that isn't always the case. And what we can do as people to beat those prejudices in our own minds, and perhaps some examples of perhaps from more of you aged gentlemen, if you face people that have perhaps accused you of using those prejudices that they may have had that perhaps wasn't the case, and how you came about overcoming that.
Just to say, for run around number 2, you nailed that, Ryan. So
Thank you. Did I actually record this time?
let's see. No, this is the second one and it's not recorded. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Everything's running now. Look, the loves are coming in on TikTok as well. Thank you for people giving those to us.
I just want to give a shout out because Anaclastics, thank you for joining and liking the live, and congratulations on getting your first job today. So well done, fantastic.
Yes,
fantastic.
massive
And
congratulations.
Well done.
Also for Sean for joining as well. Appreciate you as well. So brilliant. Well done, Anaclastics of celebration for your first job. Well done. Fabulous. Excellent. Great. Sorry, Lee, you're going to say something.
I was just going to say I love this topic. I think this is really good, right? I like the quote as a start, and I like the way you turned it into a conceptual thing. And it's, we talk about this a lot, of kind of ownership of things, taking responsibility. And back to one of the first things that Mr. Noya taught me way back many years ago, circles of control. And it is about what is in your control, what can you do to influence things. And I'll say I've seen it time and time again where people do exactly what you're saying, Ryan, where they will not get something. And, whether that's a job or they have a goal that they're trying to get to achieve something, or any number of things, anything that they're striving to. And the reason that it hasn't happened is because of something that's out of their control completely. And then that's it. It's written off. It's not their responsibility. It's not their fault. Can't do this. I'm going to do something else. And I'll say as well, when I was younger, I think I did exactly the same thing. I'm not going to talk from a point where I haven't done that. I think in learning about taking responsibility and where I am now, it's been a long journey. And I think I would have in the past put a lot of things down to those external factors without reflecting on myself whatsoever. And it's a thing I've learned with experience and time and age. And hopefully we can kind of impart a bit of that so people don't have to take quite as long to get it as maybe I did.
I definitely did it as well. I definitely did it to you two as well, back towards the start of this podcast, where I perhaps wasn't given opportunities that I thought I was ready for and right for, and blamed everything. But apart from the fact that I can't interview for toffee, so,
an affliction I suffer from as well, so I can relate to you.
Terrible.
On that one.
I'm terrible with interviews, honestly.
Well, that is it's incredible, isn't it? And actually, as you all know, I'm actually going for a different type of role. And so, and I resonate with that because I know there was a time when I applied for a role back in the day, and I thought I should have deserved that role, and I didn't get it. And it was really what you said, Ryan. It was like I didn't do the work. I thought I should be selected. I wasn't selected. I said, well, it's because or because they were preferred or whatever. The truth is, really, I wasn't a fit really for it, and it would have been super stressful for me anyway in that situation. And I'm glad I didn't get it, actually. Now I look back, thank God I didn't get it. It was so good. But I resonate with what you're saying here, Ryan. And going back to what Lee was saying about the circles of control, well, I was just trying to look while you were saying that, and I'm just going to produce the book where this is inspired.
Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People.
Yep, and there it is. Your circles of influence, circle of concern, that's your circle, what's in your control. Circles, that's things that go outside your control. They're outside your control, but you've got influence on them, but they're outside. So just thought I'd show that. Book of over 30 years, fantastic book, and these are sort of things that I coach around. And I agree with you. And what I was going to say is that we do put excuses in the way. We're just not honest with ourselves. And there is work for us to do in terms of if we don't get things, how can we seek feedback? How can we know that what's in our control? Is it because, if we do think it's because such and such is such and such? Even if we think that I didn't get it for whatever reason, or we get feedback to say X, Y, and Z, it's always worth looking at it and asking someone you trust to say, what do you think, if you trust them? And also maybe looking at what is the potential feedback on this? Is there anything in this situation that I can use to improve what I do? Is there even if the feedback, you might go, can I get some feedback off the interview? Even if you don't like the way it's delivered, is there anything in there that you need to work on? That's the hardest thing, because we get emotional reactions to things, and that can sometimes, as you said, Ryan, blindside us when we get emotional and say, oh, well, it's because of X, Y, and Z. We don't actually see the truth. So I like this. Thank you, Ryan. That's what I've got to add to that. So that's what I think is what you're saying is the truth. We don't. We just blame other things rather than facing the truth sometimes. So yeah, I like this a lot. So yeah, that was my take on it. Yeah. Over to you.
I think it's really easy for people do it all the time. I know I do it where I don't know, you don't win the lottery and you think the world's got something against you and all this stuff. Sometimes they're just turns of phrases. Sometimes it's just um, you know, life's having me off this week, or for whatever reason, or I'm having a bad week, or whatever, and that's absolutely fine. I don't think any of us are saying that you can't feel like you're having a bad week or things aren't going well. But I think we're talking about um, trying to talk about perhaps substantial life events that could go either way based off of your input and control that don't go your way, that you then blame on everyone apart from yourself. Um, I think, um, it's
Well,
very easy.
it's your topic, Ryan. So we're talking about what you want to talk about. I like
Yeah,
that, bring it
no,
up to the big events.
but I think it's very easy to sit at the sideline and say, well, do you lot never complain about things that go wrong for you? And of course, we all do. We're all human. And I think the point of what I'm trying to tie this in with is the kind of main real world type events that um, we would consider substantial, that perhaps make us nervous. Job interviews is probably the best one, or you could argue perhaps doctor's appointments, or even proposing to a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or whatever. It's you're almost putting something up to chance, and that's when it doesn't work out that you then feel that suddenly it's the world's problem but yours. I think that's the kind of specifics of what I'm trying to tie it into, and going back to the quote, that specific is the girlfriend broke up with Mark Zuckerberg in this story because of whatever reason. She claimed that he was an arsehole. He claimed that he thought it was because he was a nerd. And it's just how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself as well, right? It's what self-worth do you place on yourself, and what self-worth or what worth do you let others place on you to support that.
Yeah.
And I think it all ties in, both professionally and personally, and in any kind of relationship that you wanna pursue.
Do you interpret from that, like with the it's because I'm a nerd type of thing, that it's almost like, well, it's her problem, it's not mine. This is who I am. I don't need to change, because he's almost dismissed that arsehole bit where he could be a better person. It's like, well, I don't need to change. I'm a nerd. She's never going to like me. Like you said, not my problem. Out of my hands.
Um, Kind of. I think more it's him probably saying, well, you were always going to break up with me because I'm a nerd.
Almost like it's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I'm lucky I've got this far. Because
Yeah, well, and that's a good. I hadn't seen that, but that's good, because there's one thing I was going to ask you on this, because there's a few things I'd like to throw into the mix on this to kind of build on the principle. One ties in a bit with the circle to control thing, where like sometimes actually bad things do happen to you that do make something go wrong because of an external force, but it might be an external force you can do nothing about. So actually throwing all the blame at that does nothing, because as we talked about things before, it's down to how you react. So actually, yes, this thing's happened, it's out of your control, so how can you pivot or adjust or change things to still make it happen? Which ties into my second view, which is like what you said with the foregone conclusion. It's like you almost, before you've even tried, you write it off because of XYZ. So actually, it almost inhibits you getting there before it's even a problem, because you've decided it's a problem up front, and you almost stop trying to find a solution or another way to do it, or a way to better yourself, or a way to learn a new skill to get there.
Yeah, and how many times have you had a friend or a colleague apply for a job and you say, "Oh, good luck, hope it goes well, and they go, I won't get it because Kevin doesn't like me, or whatever. The hypothetical Kevin in this
There's a
case.
couple
The
of things
Kevin, the
around it.
carrot from Aldi that comes out at Christmas.
Other stores are available.
Yeah, nice.
Um,
Look at Joe being the sensible one for once.
Just wanted to give a shout out to Meg Noya. Big up, Inspirational. Thanks, Meg. Had Meg on the show. Lots of people joining. It's fantastic. Thank you everyone for joining. Please don't forget to like the live. We need to get this out to more people. So please like it. If you like the content, please like it. Gets it out there. So thank you for joining.
And actually, if you don't like it, can you still like it anyway? Because that'll help us grow.
Yeah, thanks, Lee. Like that. Appreciate that. That's a good addition. A couple of things you said actually. Go on, Ryan.
No. After you, please.
So you said about how we react to things or respond to things is absolutely right, Lee. I think you're right. And you said something around, and also the thing about I broke up with you because I'm not going to break because you're a nerd because you're an a-hole, right? And also that thing you said around.
Say it.
And then the other thing.
That was really creepy the way you whispered it.
And then the other thing is, you throw me off track. Stop.
I'm going to make that my text alert.
And the other I'm going to ignore this.
That's very 2003.
The other thing you said was, it's because of Bob or something, wasn't it? Bob. I always say Bob. I don't know why. But it's because of I won't get the job. So a couple of things around this. One is about beliefs. I won't get a job. I never get these types of jobs. Or you blame an external force, whatever. And you're right, Lee. We blame an external force, then we don't do anything about it. So we just fulfil the prophecy of not getting the things we want because we put things in the way. The belief thing is, I'm protecting myself. So okay, I'll never get this job. That's sort of saying, I never get this job. So if I don't get the job, it's okay because, I know I won't get it. So I'm not going to be disappointed because I'm not going to get it. But that's because we're afraid of rejection. That's a big thing as well. Like even this thing about the social network about, I'm not going to break because you're a nerd. I'll break because you're an a-hole. There's a belief around that just because they're a nerd, they're not going to get the girl, right? But that's not what they're saying. They're saying you just because you're not you're a bit of an arsehole. So
Nice.
Wow.
there's a lot around.
Impressed.
Trying to say that. So I think we've got to be conscious of the beliefs before we go into anything. So I said I've got an interview coming up shortly, but I believe I've got a good chance. But I've got to be prepared that I may not get it, and there's rejection. I'm just got to accept that. But you saying that, Ryan, is that like you said when we begin this podcast, and way before that, I was doing things where I was putting an excuse in the way. I didn't get it because they preferred someone else, and that's a belief, and that stops us. So we've got to examine these beliefs, examine what we're believing, because our beliefs form our world. Our beliefs form and dictate the actions we'll take after that. Like you said, if you don't believe you'll get a job, or they get that job, you may not apply for the next one because you believe you never get it. You might even apply. So the whole point is to put yourself out there and to look at your beliefs and try and change them so they serve you in a positive way rather than serve you in a negative way, i.e. protect you from rejection. We all have to go through rejection. It's part of the path and part of the place where we can learn things, why we were rejected, what's the reason, learn and just grow, because that's life. We are going to be rejected. No matter how much we try, there will be a rejection at some point. So let's just go with it and let's just lean into it. And I will soon see whether I get rejected or get accepted, or whatever it is. I'll learn something from that experience. But yeah, thank you for that good thought there, Ryan and Lee. Because I think this is really useful. I think everybody is afraid of things, and we will use these things to avoid the truth. And we need to get to the truth, right? We can only get that through people who observe us, people outside ourselves, right? But people we trust will give us, we've got our best interests at heart, will let us know what we need to work on if we don't know ourselves. And sometimes people say, well, you didn't get it because you actually didn't do enough work in this area. Right, okay, I know what work I need to do.
That's it, take on the feedback.
Yeah, it's hard though. It's not easy. I'm not saying for a moment any of this stuff is easy, because it's not. Because there has to be some self-acceptance about the work that you need to do. And I do hear a lot, I'm stuck. And then well, what do you want to do? Well, I don't think I need to do anything. Well, if you're not going to do anything, nothing's ever going to change, because remember what craziness is? Craziness is doing the same things but expecting different results. It's just not going to change. have to do things differently, try different things to get different results. But we all fall into that trap. I'm not excluding myself from that trap because we all have these cycles. So, yeah, thank you, Ryan, for this great topic, by the way. I really appreciate this. Really good.
Yes, absolutely. Anything else, Ryan, you wanted to get in on this before we wrap things up? Partly because we're a bit condensed on time because some idiot forgot to press the right button.
Who was that?
Dunno.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, it was 15 minutes ago. Joe can't remember what happened now.
You're off scot-free, mate. You're fine. No, I think we've covered pretty much most of it.
Oh, look, it's got some roses sent in the chat. Thank you.
Lovely.
Everything good? Yes, thanks, Will. Everything is good, dude. I hope you're keeping well. Thanks, Bernie, for joining. So, any questions, post in the chat. I will mention to the guys here. Please keep liking the live. I can't like it myself, and like Lee likes to like the live. We've got 205 likes so far. Let's get that number up. But yeah, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate you. So thank you so much. Yeah.
So, Jose, give me a takeaway for this week.
My takeaway for this one is to look for the truth in either yourself or be brave and ask other people where you think you need to improve, but ask them to be very honest about that and preface it with, I want you to be honest so you get the truth as much, because it's hard to see the truth outside yourself sometimes. So that's what my takeaway is from that. Thank you.
Like it, I'm going to give you, and I think it's a great topic. I really love the message of it. And actually, in this last bit you said at the end there, you spoke to me, Joe, I'm going to say fear is a great demotivator, and be conscious of that, and work to work around that. Don't be afraid of the fear.
Yeah, actually, Simon Squibb says use fear as a signal to do stuff. Like use fear. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And Ryan, what have you got for your topic this week as your takeaway?
I think my takeaway from this week will be that you can only control what you can control.
Love it. It's a favourite of mine, that is. This is great. This is a really good topic this week. Really enjoyed it. Enjoyed getting to talk about it for 10 minutes and then restarting for another 20.
I was really proud of how we started it as well.
Ryan, actually, your second stint was really how you remember that was brilliant. It was like just a brilliant rerun of what you did. So, kudos to you, my friend. That was very good.
Yes. That. Great stuff. We thank everyone out there for supporting us. If you like what we're doing, head over to social media at Listen to Oin, Listen TOIN. Give us a follow, share our content, give us some likes. All that stuff really helps us, gets everything out there. And look for Jose Noya. Jose Noya, Inspiration Nation. Stick it in your Google machine. He is all over the place. Like, follow, subscribe. If you follow him on both TikTok and YouTube, you will get notified when we go live each and every week. You can find out all the nonsense before I actually hit the record button to get everything going properly. You'll be notified when we go live. And of course, head over to inspirationnation.org.uk for everything to the podcast. Back catalogue, getting on for near 5 years of content on there now. Merchandise store, sign up for Joe's newsletter, weekly blog, loads of great stuff. Of course, we will be back next week. So I will count us down. I will say 3, 2, 1. Inspiration Nation.
Inspiration Nation.
Catch you guys later.
Catch you guys later.
Catch you guys later.